Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Regressive Handbook, the series in which I take a look at Fusion and Bassem Youssef's takes on the State of the Union, as it were. This episode will be focused on Fusion's perceptions of the separation of church and state as practiced or not practiced in America. So, strap in and let's listen to a man from the Muslim nation of Egypt tell us all about how terrible the US is at maintaining an arm's-length relationship between rulers and religion.
In the Middle East, we don't get too hung up on following a specific recipe for a perfect society.
You don't say. You mean to tell me that the region of the world that haphazardly throws together new governments and governing legislation at a whim, overseen primarily by Muslim war hawks, is the same region with the majority of the world's terrorist attacks, government coups, and general chaos and disorder? It couldn't be.
We like to throw everything into a big pot. We put in some religion, some laws, we put in some lamb, and let them all sort of boil over indefinitely. It's a bit of a mess, but we have fewer dishes to do.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. The leading benefit of living in the Middle East? Fewer dishes to wash, due to food shortages and serious government abuses of theology and military power. What a deal. Where do I sign up?
America's a whole other story. When the Founding Father got together and wrote the instruction manual, the first thing they decided was that church and state would remain completely separate.
Now, actually, Bassem, if you take a look at the preamble to and the first section of the Constitution of the United States of America, you will see that they were primarily focused on creating a system of checks and balances through the establishment of the three branches of federal government and the bicameral Congress. The portion of the Constitution to which I believe you are actually referring is the First Amendment, which states, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof," which is the first of the 10 amendments that comprise the Bill of Rights. What this means is that religious freedom is to be protected by, and I'm quoting from the official Senate.gov page for the Constitution of the United States of America, quote, "prohibiting the establishment of an official or exclusive church or sect," end quote. You will note that, in the entirety of the Constitution, religion is only mentioned once. And the term church is only mentioned once, but rather in the explanation of the Constitution's text, not in the Constitution itself. But hey, far be it for me, an ignorant Mapleback, to school you on the Constitution of your country. I'm sure I'm just misreading the official transcription and explanation of the document. Sure, that's probably it, right?
Let's face it, America, you've never had an exclusive relation with any religion.
Legislatively, no. By popular majority, sure. What's your point? The whole premise of the lack of an official legislated religion or religious sect was to ensure the freedom of responsible religious practice for all Americans, not to say that there couldn't be any sort of influence on governing tendencies by a person or population's values as instilled by a particular religion.
But there's definitely one you wouldn't mind going all the way with. Now, I don't know if Christianity would be too comfortable hanging around Congress. There's an awful lot of drinking and swearing on most mornings. But these days, 1 out of 3 of you consider America to be a Christian nation. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of macaroni salad.
What a day. What a day when an atheist Canadian gets to school a Muslim American on the Constitution of the United States of America and how it applies to religion. Seriously though, this feels wrong, but I just can't turn down the opportunity to logic slap someone and an organization who are being so ignorant. Oh, and before we carry on here, if by going all the way you meant establishing Christianity as the one official religion of the US, where no representative or citizen was allowed to practice any other faith, because that's about as all the way as you can go without religion, totally taking over everything. No, I think you'd find that if you asked the average American citizen, Should the government be allowed to rule over you by religious law and tell you which religion you're allowed to follow? Yeah, I think you'd find a very different public opinion.
It's nice to hear that you guys are finally coming around to the idea that church and state should merge.
Are they, Bassem? Are they really? Or are you and Fusion about to ask a bunch of people on the street a laundry list of loaded questions and then cherry-pick the answers that you feel best support your pre-established conclusion? I've never thought of myself as a clairvoyant. You know, someone who can look into the future and foresee events still to come. But I'll be damned if I'm not starting to get that feeling when it comes to Fusion video.
So a lot of people say that America is founded on Judeo-Christian principles. Do you believe in this?
Absolutely. I mean,
Called it.
the whole world is founded on Judeo-Christian principles.
Tonight is a testament to the Judeo-Christian values that built this great nation.
Nice, nice little bit of an, little jump cut there, Fusion. Wonder if there was anything in there about certain Christian principles that are actually solid moral guidelines, and that did influence the sorts of laws and policies that have been put in place over time, and how they've actually been a benefit to the US. Or maybe you're just taking a 3-second snippet from a speech and making wild and nigh baseless assumptions based on it. Who knows?
The Constitution is built on a lot of stuff that's biblical.
Yeah, she's actually wrong. If you separate the Bill of Rights from the initial Constitution, there's really nothing in the Constitution to do with religion. It's a manual for how to establish a republic, and for dividing particular powers between state and federal governing bodies. Though, what I believe she's trying to say here, based on context, is that there are a lot of laws in the United States that are based on certain principles and moral values contained within the Bible, insofar as they have been upheld over time, and not been adjusted to remain in line with popular opinions as time has passed. And in that case, she'd be absolutely correct. Tenets like "thou shalt not steal" became laws against thievery. "Thou shalt not kill" became laws against homicide and manslaughter. But yes, if you conduct some hack job editing of interviews after asking loaded questions, you could totally put forth the message that you're advancing in this video, Bassem. Not that you'd ever do that, right?
There's nothing new underneath the sun. Everything that goes on in the Bible happens today.
Theft? Yep. Adultery? Yep. Murder? Sure. Coveting thy neighbor's ox? Okay, well, maybe in Texas. But, yeah, just some more post-production journalism here. Let's move on, shall we?
What's my first favorite book? The Bible!
That's the way we do it where I'm from. No one's ever complained. At least not twice. Show of hands? Who's complained twice? No hands? Oh, no hands.
You know, I actually chuckled at that joke. I've always appreciated a similar bit of dark humor that goes along the lines of, you know, any soldier can be a minesweeper. Once. Sure, I think he overplayed it and drew it out longer than he needed to for the effect, but it's a solid starter tier rib tickler. Either way, this has all been one giant false equivalency to the Middle East. Bassem, soundbite obsession and quote mining won't help you here.
Our government does not sponsor a religion, nor does it pressure anyone to practice a particular faith, or any faith at all.
The founding fathers were pretty cool about most things, but they were very strict about keeping religion and government away from each other. It wasn't even one of those if you're gonna do it at home kind of things. Church, state, no funny business, keep that door open. So when were these crazy kids, church and state, finally able to sneak off together and at least cup a feel?
Honestly, no clue. However, I have a strange feeling that you're going to give us a slightly skewed interpretation of the whole sordid affair.
At the turn of the century, the only faith the Republican Party claimed was faith in government. But in the 1950s, Evangelicals wanted to be kept safe from those filthy, godless Russians, and the Republicans wanted voters. So thanks to the Cold War, their courtship heated up.
So, what you're telling me is that without actually infringing on the rights of the people, a political party decided to act in the interests of the individuals they governed. Huh. How about that?
We believe in freedom, born of the conviction that every person is a child of God.
Since there's no citation for the clip being used here in the original videos page, I cannot, for the life of me, find where it comes from. So, based on what I know of the common practices of Bassem and Fusion, I'm going to guess that it was strategically clipped out to imply a particular meaning and just move on with the video. For my citations of the likelihood of such conduct, you need to look only at the previous episodes in this series and even just earlier in this video, where strategic editing can be blatantly found. Hard at work, making sure that you get just the impression that Fusion wants you to have. Now either way, just saying God does not specify a religion, as plenty of religions, indeed most major religions today, are of a monotheistic nature, believing in one ruling deity. Whatever the name you use, be it God, Allah, Jehovah, Elohim, Satnam, whatever, that's still a God. Sure, you can swear upon a stack of Bibles in court, but you may also choose a holy book from your own preference, or solemnly affirm to your statements if you don't practice any religion in particular.
Nothing really happened, but state finally agreed to wear church's pin. One nation under God was added to the Pledge of Allegiance in 1954. And in 1957, In God We Trust showed up on paper money. For church and state, romance was in the air. Fast forward to the 1980s. That's when the hardcore Christians started hanging around the White House.
I'm just going to cut the video here, as the rest of it is nothing but a bunch of whining about Republicans from a demonstrably Democrat-leaning media outlet. But of course, don't take my word for it. No. Don't just act on blind faith. You can see the original video in its entirety on Fusion's channel, and there is a link to the Democracy Handbook playlist in the description for your convenience. It's episode 9, if you're wondering. So, you see, it hasn't just been the Republicans focusing on religion, or singing the praises of God, so on and so forth. Clinton herself has made plenty of references to the importance that she and Bill, whether during his presidential terms, her life before, or in her most recent presidential campaign, placed on religion and to the adherence to the principles as laid out by God. This isn't a partisan issue. There are Bible-thumping Democrats and godless Republicans who still manage to do their job and serve their constituents, but that message just doesn't play quite as well with your target audience, does it, Bassem? Folks, I'm not a religious snake, but rather a slightly left and libertarian-leaning one who doesn't care if other people want to peacefully practice their religion, but who won't stand being governed by laws that are pushed forth by purely religious motivations. I also won't abide someone standing up and making a bunch of false or heavily distorted claims about a population that, while predominantly Christian, has plenty of other faiths operating peacefully within it. In short, the Republican Party is not the party of God, and the Democrats are not somehow the one true voice of secular reason. However, from what I can tell, Fusion is the one true outlet for self-imposed ignorance and blind faith in narratives. Funny how they'd make a video so critical of religion and government, as they seem to be so blindly bound to their narratives coloring everything they do. And with that, we come to the close of another episode of the Regressive Handbook. There's only one episode left in this series, so stay tuned for my release of the 10th and final video sometime next week. After this series concludes, I will be launching a new series titled Why the Left Lost: 33 Strategies of Political Warfare, in which I will be examining Hillary Clinton's spectacular failure to win an election that was, if we're all being honest here, hers to lose, as per the 33 Strategies of War. Also, as always, I would like to extend my gratitude to my amazing Patreon patrons and thank them for their ongoing support. Now, some people have apologized to me for, say, only giving $1. But to this nonsense, I have and will always say, nuts. Nuts, I say. The fact that you not only take the time to watch my content, share it, and give me feedback, but also have the desire to support me financially to any extent in what I do has always been extremely moving, and it spurs me on to know that you've put any amount of faith in my potential. So thank you all for your support, and please, stay tuned for more patron-only videos soon to come. Bye, everyone.